And how is it going on, everybody? Welcome to this edition of the Paws Preview.
Let's go!
South Florida. The FIU Panthers took down the Liberty Flames, and now they get to take on Jacksonville State on Senior Day. Cam Cook University, if you will. Now, I am Jake Gibson, joined alongside my friend and co-host Kevin Barral. I hope you're having a good day, Kevin. I'm already missing the Roar Lounge. Keep it real with you. I'm missing the Roar Lounge. The food, top notch. Sports with Seb helping out with the camera work, top notch as well. Now we're back here, but the mission has not changed. FIU is only one win away from bowl eligibility, giving us the pleasure of going to Mobile, Alabama.
Hell yeah, either there, Boca Raton, who knows? Maybe New Orleans.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I look at the projections now and seeing FIU. It's a good feeling, man. It's a really good feeling. I'm really excited. Can't wait. Hopefully by the next time we're doing this, we are wearing bowl game merch.
Yes.
So I will be buying the merch regardless if it's given to me, great. If it's not, I will be buying the merch. So will you.
From the bookstore.
Anywhere. And we will be rocking it on the Pause Up preview ahead of Sam Houston. But if not, we will be very nervous going into this last week because FIU has a chance to clinch it on the road. And I was actually going to look for this right before we started. The last time FIU finished the season on the road, but I believe that was 2021. And so it's been a while since they finished the season on the road.
That's true.
And this is a day to celebrate. This is senior day for the guys. Actually, I could confirm. Yeah, it was 2021. Yeah. Senior day. It's a big one at the Cage against the 6-0 Jacksonville State team that is really freaking good. They have one of the best rushing attacks in the conference and in the nation. And they have the nation's leading rusher. It's going to be a fun game. It'll be a good game. And
yes.
Jake, I mean, by this time next week, we could be putting up a little graphic with all the bowl projections.
Let's make it happen. But before that, we got to get there. So in order to get there, we had to get a fifth win, which was basically a requirement for that game, Kevin, for us to beat Liberty. And now we get to talk about how we defeated the Liberty Flames, a team that we have wanted to beat for so long, Kevin, since 2020, the COVID year. So now we finally did it. And I got to say, that was no fluke win, although it got a little fluky at the end there with how Liberty was able to force it into overtime. But I feel like there would have been a lot of FIU teams in the past that would have given up when that happened. Overtime, they just don't have enough juice. This FIU team is different. They played even better in overtime, and they got the job done against the Flames, which feels so good to say.
Yeah, that was an awesome game. That was crazy. I think the swing of emotions from everyone at that game was crazy.
Did you see Darren?
We can't talk about that. But our swing of emotions in that game, I mean, it wasn't even when the field goal went in, which, by the way, you know what? Let's rant. Let's rant real quick.
Yeah, okay.
Conference USA officiating was
Basura.
Horrible. It was terrible. It was really, really bad. The fact, and I wish we had the clip, and you know what? I'm going to find the quote from Willie Simmons because I think he says it. He said it himself, and I think he made a great point.
He shared his opinions. I don't think he said enough to get fined, hopefully, by the conference, but I think he made his point clear with what he said back at.
Yeah,
by the way, Kevin, one of the wildest media availabilities.
It's right here. It's right here. I still need to talk to their coaches and see how they do their hurry-up field goal because every team in the country probably needs to study them. How do you kick a field goal in 4 seconds? It was pretty extraordinary. Never seen that before in my 20-year coaching career, but they did it. Liberty ran a 4-second hurry-up field goal, which is insane to me. Insane. I don't get it. So, yeah. Again, I don't know. I don't know what to say. That was terrible. That was horrible officiating there. Then not allowing Willie Simmons to review or give permission. He wanted to review the first touchdown, which I do think it was a touchdown at the end of the day, but you still need to review that.
To do it too.
He had to, so he was told that he had to call a timeout and then request a review. And after that, during one of the media timeouts or whatever it may have been, You could see the whole entire the ref crew surrounded around Willie, and Willie is chewing them out. It was really bad officiating all night, and it's been an issue this whole year. Willie is multiple times in press conferences has noted how bad the officiating has been and how there needs to be consistency with the calls. So that's definitely something that we need to mention.
Big words
but
there.
Overall, FIU went into overtime and they played one hell of a ball game. You look at the how do I say this? The way that it started with the bad snap, Joe P was able to really, and this is why Joe P has been so successful so far. He's such a smart quarterback, and I think the time that he's started games, even at the FCS level, has certainly helped. The quarterbacks he's been behind, he was behind Matt Sluka for a year. Don't forget the guy who ended up suing UNLV or something. Yeah, that guy. And that's a really good quarterback. So the fact that Joe P went and immediately just ran it out of bounds, at this line of scrimmage, huge. You stay there, you stay right there, nothing happens, and then you go on and and they got something going. It was another third down. You converted that at the end, so you get something done there, and you get the touchdown to McGuire Anderson for his first career touchdown.
Came at a pretty good time. So that was the situation on how FIU won that game. It was a gnarly way to win it, Kevin, but the Sunblazers actually got the job done that game. Now, I want to talk about your thoughts on how well FIU adjusted coming out of that second half, because my gosh, on defense specifically, it was a completely different team than what we saw in the first half. Liberty was giving them straight business. They were throwing hands. The Sunblazers didn't have too many answers, but come the second half, they really locked down Vasco and even Dickens as well to an extent. They really limited them. Got a lot of punts, gave the offense more than enough chances to not only take a lead but extend it. And I think that was probably the biggest story of that game, even more than Pizanski, was the defense turning it around in the second half.
Yeah, the defense was good. The flip like that from one half to another, and Willie noted it.
Beautiful.
The message was clear. Liberty was attacking the edge. They were going outside on the run plays. It was like this little shuffle pass that they would do they would give to Dickens to see if they could, and they were killing them. And they made the adjustment, and Liberty was limited to just 2 field goals after that. So 2 field goals after that. Obviously, one of them hurting.
Shouldn't have happened.
I want to look at the quarter/halves. So in the first half, Liberty had 226 total yards of offense, 84 rushing, 142 passing. In the second half, 152 total yards of offense, 76 rushing, 76 passing. That's insane. That is an insane adjustment to make in just one half. FIU had Liberty turned the ball over twice. Obviously, you had the 2 interceptions, McGrew with the first one, and then Mr. Clark with the last one. So it just goes to show like the adjustments that this team is able to make. And as for an offense, FIU, it's not like they were much better. Joe P kind of carried them in the second half.
Yeah.
They had 212 total yards of offense in the first, 163 in the second, but Joe P had 116 of those total yards with 116 passing yards alone in the second half of action. So it just goes to show how much Joe P kind of took over that game and how big of an impact he made there. So again, huge win for this FIU team, but I think it just comes down to the adjustments. And I think Jacksonville State now knows that, all right, we got to figure out what to do here, because clearly they made an adjustment within one half that completely changed the course of the game.
I think this team's ability to adjust in the second half has gotten so much better.
MTSU too.
Yeah, as the season has gone on. MTSU and now this game compared to, say, the games against Delaware and UConn, where they couldn't really change much and turn those games around. They couldn't do it against those teams, but these last couple of games, they've been able to do it, and they'll need to do it again against Jacksonville State. So let's just, all right, on the count of 3, let's say yes or no, and then move on from this. Okay. FIU should have punted it instead of going for it 4th and 1. You potentially pin Jack State's offense deep around the 5 to 10 yard line with 15 seconds ago, instead of going for it and they missing it and setting up that debauchery. 3, 2, 1. Yes.
And you need to do your research, as someone would say. It is Liberty's offense. He said Jack State.
hopefully we don't have to see a situation like that against Jack State. I can't take too many more stressful games like that. I like it when FIU blows out their opponents like Western Kentucky.
We'll probably get a stressful game if I had to guess.
EA cooked up
EA cooked one up. Yeah, not great, but yeah,
not great, but it'll get your heart going. That was one of the by the way, that was one of the wackiest media availabilities I've been to in a hot minute, Kevin. It was.
We'll not talk about what was said because we cannot talk about it. But yeah, it was interesting.
This is a PG show, I think. So we'll have to keep it like that.
PG-13.
I don't know how much more to say, but we knew how even the game was between Liberty and FIU going into.
KJ Owens over 1,000 yards, reaches over 1,000 yards. He is now very close to breaking the record. And if you give me just 10 seconds, I can find the record.
Set in 2011, Kedrick Rhodes.
Kedrick Rhodes or something like that.
Yes.
It is 1,159 yards. He's currently at 1,039. So one big game, and you're looking at the record being broken.
And this is going to be the guy to do it. And if it doesn't happen against Jack State, you maybe have to feel good about that happening against Sam Houston State, because I know Sam Houston's rush defense is not very good. So excited for KJ. Obviously a cool dude. We actually got to talk to him on Tuesday, and I think he's doing a good job staying humble and staying motivated to just keep on helping this team win, which they've been doing a hefty amount this season when he goes off in those games specifically. Any final thoughts on the game? Like I was saying, pretty even. It's nice to see this FIU team in these close games get the job done as opposed to, other FIU teams in the past, Kevin.
Yeah, no, that was fun. I mean, I really don't know what last year's team would have done, honestly. I don't think it would have been that close, but it also shows that the top of the conference is no longer what it used to be, right? I mean, Liberty, they're a solid team, don't get me wrong, but they ain't the Liberty of 2023 or the Liberty of 2024. So yeah, it just shows that times have changed and things are a little different here nowadays. And CUSA, we're playing the top team this week. So,
and I speak for all. I think I speak for all of CUSA when I say thank God.
Yeah,
thank God that those guys aren't.
Yep. Bleep this, but
yes. PG-13 show, Kevin. Come on now.
PG-13. You could say F-bombs.
F-bombs as in, frankly, I think Pazianski is an awesome quarterback. That's my F-bomb for you. Let's get into the Jacksonville State Gamecocks, Kevin. I jokingly say Camp Cook University for a reason. That's the identity of their program this season. And Kevin, I think I remember you and I talking about 3 to 4 weeks in how bad of a season the Gamecocks were having because they were dropping all these non-con games. But, in retrospect, those 3 losses to UCF, Georgia Southern, Southern Miss, not the worst losses, especially early on in the season, but when they're taking on these CUSA teams, they're making the most out of it. They're on a 5-game winning streak, already way past bowl eligibility. They beat their toughest opponent, which was their rivals in Kennesaw State. This is a team that is designed to win the CUSA title game and get into a nice bowl game. And now FIU is in the way for them.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the Bowl Confidence Index. Yeah, it's right here. Okay. So the Bowl Confidence Index is as follows. Liberty, 100%. Western Kentucky, 100%. Jacksonville State, 91.67%. So this is essentially...
How is Liberty at 100%?
Dude, this was a crapshoot. I need to find. I want to find my results from the Bowl Conference Index because I know
because I doubt Liberty even makes it to a bowl. I think they take on Delaware to end the season, and they're already at 6 wins.
So. Okay, here it is. Here was my Bowl Confidence Index selections. I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I made 5 selections for the Bowl Confidence.
Okay,
so I chose Western Kentucky, who made it, Liberty, who needs to win out to make it, Jacksonville State. So I held hope for the Cox. Paws, but I held hope for them. FIU, that's a pretty good hit.
Yes.
The one that is gonna absolutely destroy me.
UTEP.
I chose UTEP. Yeah.
Sorry. Listen, I'll give some love to UTEP this week. Wait till you see that. But yeah, that's how good they are. So I'll just straight up ask you. There's no getting around this. Cam Cook, one of the best running backs in college football. FIU in their practices goes up against Keyshawn Owens every now and then. They just took on Evan Dickens.
You're wrong. He literally, Willie told you that Keyshawn Owens does not go up against the first team defense. It is Sterling Joseph, Nate Henry, Jose Corbo. It is a scout team that imitates, whatever you want to call it, Cam Cook. So Keyshawn Owens goes up against the FIU second team or scout team defense.
Point is, they go up against Keyshawn Owens in practices.
No, they don't.
But they do. It doesn't matter.
They don't. No, they don't.
See how Keyshawn Owens runs the ball.
The first team defense does not face Keyshawn Owens.
Okay, that's great, but Keyshawn Owens still works in practices, and players have to go against him. So
yeah,
the players that don't play the game figure out how Keyshawn Owens plays.
The players that don't play in the games go up against Keyshawn Owens. Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
Okay, but they still get to study Keyshawn Owens during practices and figure out what makes him great. And Kevin, just let me finish this.
Finish, but you're wrong.
Owens. Well, no, I'm right. But they see Keyshawn Owens. They take on Evan Dickens. They just took on him.
There, you're right. Yes, facing Evan Dickens is huge. That is huge because you're facing one of the top 3 running backs in the conference.
How ready is this team for Cam Cook?
I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know. They did a really good job against Evan Dickens. Even on a bad day from Cam Cook, he still runs for over 100 yards. So I don't know. I really don't know what Cam Cook is going to do. I actually found a highlight of him against Middle Tennessee a couple weeks back.
Okay.
And Buddy absolutely shredded that defense. And needless to say, Middle Tennessee is not a very good defense, but he absolutely, he was like, there were like 3 dudes trying to tackle him. Got destroyed. Like he shredded right through them. Okay. So I don't know what to expect from Cam Cook. Honestly, I haven't watched much Cam Cook, but I got to give a lot of credit to Jacksonville State. Year in and year out, these guys find this random running back transfer who all of a sudden ends up being an absolute stud. Last year, it was the running back for them. I forgot his name. He was really good, but they also had Tyler Huff, who was the quarterback. He was really good. The running back from last year didn't even end up signing with he signed with an NFL team. He just didn't make their team. But the year before that, they had another guy who was really good. So ever since they've gone to the FBS, they've had these really good quarterbacks. I mean, these really good running backs and running quarterbacks who've been really freaking good. And I think it's Elijah Green or something like that was his name, the running back for Jack State, if you have his name.
Yeah, I'll try to see if I can pull it up here in a second. By the way, this is probably going to be it for Cam Cook at Jack State, by the way. I mean, he transferred in from TCU. He probably just wanted to get some nice tape to try to go get back into a power conference team next year, which I think is either his junior or senior. I think it's a senior season coming up. So this might be it for Trey Stewart, by the way. Trey Stewart.
Yep. Trey Stewart. Yep.
And don't take my word for it, but this is probably it for Cam Cook at Jack State. You'll find out more about that from our wonderful guest for this episode of the Paws Up preview. So aside from Jack State, you're going to have Caden Creel, a freshman doing this against opposing offenses. It's quite scary, Kevin.
Well, I hate to break it to you. He's not a freshman.
Yeah, he is. Caden Creel.
Caden Creel is a redshirt sophomore.
He's listed as freshman on ESPN. So
you look at their website. It's redshirt sophomore.
Do you want to go against the $1 billion corporation in ESPN?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to go off of the school, which says he's a redshirt sophomore.
School is in Jacksonville, Alabama. A lot of people think they play in Florida. I think their fight song even clarifies that. While I was doing research for the trailer, their fight song clarifies that this is Jacksonville, Alabama, not Florida. Anyway, so how good's Creel really? I mean, passing wise, I feel like there's a little bit to be desired, but yeah, he's a scary runner, Kevin. Creel, when he has to use his legs, can get you some touchdowns here and there. So this is going to be one of the obviously toughest running games FIU will have to take on this season, obviously. But I just asked you, how ready are they for Cook? How ready are they for a runner at the QB spot like Creel?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. And the way Willie spoke about it, really came off interesting to me. Like he made it seem like this is a real deal as a running quarterback. And Caden Creel, and he's played 10 games. And I'm trying to find his rushing stats right here. He has 730 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns. He's almost at 1,000 passing yards too. 843 passing yards and 4 passing TDs. So he's been solid. But the one caveat we do need to note with this quarterback situation is that they run 2 of them. It is Caden Creel and Gavin Wimsatt, who is he's a Kentucky transfer. So he's also been pretty good too this year, and he's definitely a guy to keep an eye out on. Gavin Wimsatt, a senior who was at Rutgers beforehand. Yeah. And he's also thrown for 731 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, but he's also been pretty helpful in the run game, 244 rushing yards and 4 TDs. So expect those 2 guys to be in there. And the other thing I noticed too, and I put this out on Twitter today, I don't know if you want to search it up, the play. It was against Middle Tennessee. They had both quarterbacks in the game. So Creel was he caught the snap and he passed it over to Wimsatt, who threw it to the receiver for a touchdown. So that's something to keep in mind there when looking at this Jack State team. They're going to present you some 2 quarterback sets, and that'll be something very interesting, but it also make it very obvious what they're going to do at the same time. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. But Willie noted it. I mean, Creel is very athletic. He's a very good runner at quarterback, and FIU's had some struggles against running quarterbacks this season, Nick Minicucci being one of them. Even a guy like Jacob Clark, who isn't a running quarterback, still ran over FIU. So, that'll be something interesting to me. But this is going to be a very interesting game. Yeah. FIU has the 4th best rushing defense in the conference. This is going to be a fun one, man. It's the number 1 rushing offense versus the number 2 rushing offense in the conference. So you're going to see a lot of running, and that's why I think one of the keys to the game, and we can talk about this a little bit, is passing the ball. Okay. Jacksonville State has the worst passing offense in the conference. The worst, not even close. I think their passing defense isn't very good either. So I could check that real quick. Their passing defense currently ranks. I'm going to find it right now.
Yeah, Jack State passing wise,
it ranks 10th. So
we're 11th, by the
way. We are. We're 11th. It's not good, but I don't know why I feel like our passing.
Sam Houston's 12th, though. Let's go.
They should be at the bottom of everything. Come on.
I know. All right. I think it's time to get into our guest this week, Kevin. It is none other than the starting quarterback of the host of the 700 Pelham Road podcast, Caleb Williams. Obviously, a very respected podcast in both the CUSA Podcast Roundtable and the College Huddle, providing excellent content for Jacksonville State athletics. So without further ado, let's welcome in the 700 Pelham Road pod right about now. And welcome back to the Paws preview. We hope you're enjoying the show so far. Now it's time to get into our opponent this week, being none other than the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. And who better to bring on than the host of the 700 Pelham Road podcast, Caleb Williams. Thank you so much for spending some time with me, man. Congratulations on the win this past Sunday against Minnesota. You absolutely balled out there, taking down the Vikings at US Bank. That was a great. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing with you, but no, I can congratulate you on what has been a phenomenal season for the Gamecocks. Now the top dogs in Conference USA, man, and we'll just start there. What was your expectation heading into the season to be where you are right now, and how much of a scare did that early part of the season give you when Jacksonville State was kind of dropping non-con games left and right?
I didn't expect us to kind of have full control of the conference going into the last couple weeks of the season. I thought we'd probably be in contention, but I didn't think we'd be undefeated and probably favored in our last 2 games, just because we lost so many great players after Rich Rod went up to West Virginia. Looking back at our non-conference schedule, we played 3 really good teams and went 0-3 against them, right? We play UCF, very talented team. Scott Frost obviously knows what he's doing down there. Southern Miss, first in the Sun Belt this season. Sorry, Sun Belt, right? Is that the conference they're in? Yeah, they're first in the Sun Belt. First year coach Charles Huff. So, they're obviously a phenomenal football team. Georgia Southern, not just lighting it up in the Sun Belt, but they're a good football team,
Yeah.
right? Very good football team. So you can't, and going to their place, which from us is like 6 hours away. That's a tough road trip. But in conference play, we've just found ways to win on the road when we absolutely needed to, and then at home, I think we've won every home conference game by double digits. So
Yeah.
it's we've done what we've needed to do to put ourselves in position to where, believe it or not, 11 wins is possible this year. So
Yeah. I think, well, I'd like to say that there is a slim, ever so slim chance of being the group of five, group of six representative in the CFP. Maybe that's a bit too far away with those non-con losses, but still, regardless, you would get into a very, very nice bowl game with just the way you're going and a CUSA title game under your belt. So maybe even the Cure Bowl again. If I'm not mistaken, that's where the Gamecocks went to last year. So I could talk about any of these specific games, but I think I know the one that you feel most happy to have won, being the most recent one against Kennesaw State. Number one, I was asking Kai about this. Does this rivalry have a name? I know it was pretty active in FCS in the Atlantic Sun. So does it actually have a name? And number two, just talk about how it feels to not to take down Kennesaw State, and which I'm sure is great for you in every sport, but to do it in, I would say, pretty dominant fashion, all things considered.
yeah, to answer the first question, not officially, but the term uncompromised hate is starting to go around the yard. Um, that seems to be the name that's catching the most momentum. Um, I think that's pretty good. It kind of plays on that Georgia Tech rivalry of clean old fashioned hate, except there's really nothing clean or old fashioned about it because we genuinely detest each other's existence, and it's not old fashioned because we've only played each other 6 times. But it's nonetheless, I think it's one of the best rivalries at the group of five level for having only existed 8 calendar years.
Mm-hmm.
And both schools genuinely like hate each other. Like, it doesn't just, like you said, it's not just football. It's every sport. It's just the fans. It's becoming the band programs it too, believe it or not, which is a different story for a different time. But I think that's what makes a rivalry great, and it definitely feels good to beat them the way we did. I've got some thoughts on how we played, but I can't look at the scoreboard and question it. We won by double digits
Mm-hmm.
against you know against a team that was undefeated in Conference USA, um, and put ourselves in firm control of the CUSA standings going into the last 2 weeks of the season. So I can't complain about how we played when we win like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A win's a win, and that's what the Gamecocks have managed to do well for a while now. So let's get into what really makes this Jacksonville State team click. And usually I like to start with talking about the quarterback, but let's just get right into it and talk about what Cam Cook has done for the Gamecocks this season. I'm assuming has become the face of the program with what he's been able to do. Are one of the best running backs in all of college football. So talk about what your expectations were for Cam entering the season, how quickly he smashed them, which I'm assuming, yeah, he definitely smashed them, and how you think he will, what do you think he will be known for when his time with Jacksonville State wraps up?
Well, so to start, I actually didn't think he was going to be the starting running back. I kind of thought it'd be Andrew Paul, just familiarity with a lot of the schemes that we run. Because for all intents and purposes, if you watch a lot of the stuff we do, it's a lot of the same stuff we did under Rich Rod. A lot of zone read, a lot of quick passes out to the perimeter. I mean,
Mhm.
the offense itself does not look that different. So I thought Andrew Paul was going to be the starter.
Okay.
But combined with Cam Cook just being as good as he is, Andrew Paul got hurt early in the season.
Yeah.
It's given Cam Cook an opportunity to really just kind of get the lion's share of the carries. And so yeah, he's absolutely smashed my expectations, and I think I wrote about it in our blog for the recap yesterday. He is actually on pace to break Trey Stewart's numbers from last season, both in yards and touchdowns. I think he's averaging like 10 or 15 more yards per game. Um, he's second in the country in rushing by 30 yards, and that's because Ahmad Hardy had 300 yards this last week. Um, so he's absolutely the face of the program. In fact, even today we found out he became a semifinalist for the Doak Walker Award,
Mm-hmm.
which firmly entrenches him as one of the top 10 running backs in the country. I would argue he's higher than that, but we'll see. The voters obviously are going to vote for the big name dudes at the big schools because that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
But going forward, I think the biggest thing he's going to be known for is he gets it done.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about moving straight to the running backs because for the most part of the year, our quarterback play has been non-existent, and he still managed to rack up multiple 200-yard rushing games. Um, it just you can't really throw a scheme at him that stops him because he breaks it whatever tackles
Yeah.
come his way. So,
Was that an A+ transfer or what? I mean, my
oh
goodness.
yeah,
Yeah. Are you hoping he stays one more year? Do you think he will? Do you think he might have other plans to maybe get back into the power conference level after this season? Because he certainly showed that he probably has the talent to do so.
I think he's a guy that's unfortunately I just don't see him in Jacksonville past this December.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for him to stay because I think next year, with another year of Caden Creel and some of these receivers getting trained up, I think it could be a special season, right? I think it's a season where Jacksonville State could challenge for that fifth Group of Five champion. Well, for that fifth conference championship spot in the CFP. But I think he's either going to get a huge NIL offer to go somewhere else, or he's going to go to the NFL. I don't think there's another route where for him. I think he's that good because he's got the size. Everyone knows he's got the speed. Because I think he's averaging like 6 or 7 yards carry. And unfortunately, we have, I think, now maybe the third smallest athletic budget in all of FBS.
Mm.
Um, we don't have the money to pay players the way that a lot of other schools do. So hopefully we're going to remember him for a pretty spectacular finish to the year, and we can get to 10 or 11 wins and enjoy the time we had with him.
Okay. All right. Well, now let's actually get into the quarterback situation. And, well, it certainly is pretty different from then to now with Wimsatt being the guy to start the season. But now it's been the Caden Creel show. The freshman has come in and has, in some situations, looked like an absolute veteran in this offensive scheme that Jacksonville State has. Yet, granted, I don't think this offense in general has the most wow factor when it comes to their passing ability, but they can make it happen when they need to. What have you seen from Caden Creel in two aspects? Number one, Caden Creel, the passer, and number two, Caden Creel, the runner.
When Creel first was put in the starting lineup, which I think was against Southern Miss, was his first start. The biggest concern is he just did not have. He doesn't have the kind of arm strength you would expect out of an FBS quarterback, but he makes a lot of the easy throws. He's a much. I was surprised about this with Gavin Wimsatt, but Caden Creel's just a more willing runner of the football. One of the things with Gavin is he was just very tentative, keeping the football on the option schemes. Caden Creel is almost too willing to keep it, and he'll seek out contact early and often. And unfortunately, I think that's just what we have to have if we want Cam Cook to keep playing well, because you got to respect the quarterback out of the backfield, and he shows that as a passer. Oh, sorry, as a runner now. I think I was looking at the numbers yesterday. He's got 3 100-yard rushing games in the last 5 weeks. He's up almost to 800 yards rushing, and that's with 3 games that he wasn't even the starter. So, as a runner, he's certainly everything we need him to be and then some. In ways, he does remind me a lot of Tyler Huff because he's very physical. very willing to run. Maybe doesn't have the upper end arm talent, but just kind of gets the job done. As you know, as a passer, he's developed pretty quickly. We saw last week after that scary situation with Caleb Offord, getting hurt. I mean, we had about a 10-minute break while we were trying to get him stabilized. And the first play out of the break, Clint Trickett calls a shot play, and he hits a deep ball over the top. And that's just kind of who he's become. He's gonna mostly be a screen and bomb type of quarterback, but he puts the ball on the money pretty much every time, and that's all we can ask for.
That is pretty much all you can ask for sure. Let's turn it on over now to Jacksonville State's defense, and I don't mean to call out my co-host Kevin Barral here, but I think I was having a conversation with him on another podcast, and I asked him, "What is there really any aspect of Jack State's defense that concerns you for FIU heading into this game?" And he said, "No, not really." And I said, "Interesting. I'd sure like to ask Caleb Williams his thoughts on that and see if he agrees to that or if FIU is in for a rude awakening with this Jack State defense that against the pass hasn't had the most spectacular season, but against the rush might be FIU's toughest challenge this season. So what can we really expect from Jack State's defense in this game?"
Well, the front seven absolutely is that's where I guess the strength of our defense would be because we stopped the run really well. Kennesaw came in and we knew they were going to go fast and try to run the football with all those RPOs and stuff that they do. They couldn't run the football unless it was Amari Odom scrambling. They didn't have a running game. In the secondary, yeah, we give up some yards at times. And if you watched against Kennesaw State, yeah, we gave up a lot of yards in the open area, especially between the hashes. But look at our turnover numbers.
Yeah.
We I think over the last 6 weeks we've got 10 or 11 turnovers. Caleb Nix has 6 of them on his own. We picked off Kennesaw 4 times. I mean,
there you go.
The first half of the year, no, our defense wasn't anything spectacular, but it got the job done. But the last 6 weeks, we've been probably the most opportunistic defense in the conference, if not one of the most opportunistic defenses in the entire country. Our turnover margin has greatly improved. When I was looking at the numbers yesterday, they're tied. Here are the schools they're tied with in total turnovers: Alabama, Michigan, Texas, USC, LSU. And those 5 schools have a lot of talent on defense.
They certainly do.
So you got to give Charles Kelly and Brian Williams credit, and you got to give the players credit. They have made the most of the opportunities that have come to them. I'll bring up Caleb Nix specifically. 6 turnovers in the last 4 games, 2 of which have been housed. He had another 2 interceptions this last week against Kennesaw State. I'd argue he may be the best safety in Conference USA at this point. I think our defense is just really, really overlooked because of the yardage numbers. I don't think a lot of people are looking at what we do in the red zone, and I'll be honest, that's where it matters. If you can defend in the red zone, you can win football games.
So that was one interesting conversation I had with Kevin. Now I'll turn it to another interesting conversation you had with Kevin in the CUSA roundtable group chat, talking about, well, why was FIU favored to, at least opening up? I think it's actually flipped, or at least it probably will flip as we get a little bit closer to game day. And you said it plain and simple: this team does not fare well on the road. And to start this season, I would agree with you. I mean, all of their losses came on the road, but is that really the case these days? Jack State is undefeated on the road against Conference USA opponents. Granted, they've been some of the closest games that Jack State has been involved in, but is there really a noticeable shift in how this team performs game in and game out, depending on whether they're at Amherst Stadium or when they're on the road?
There absolutely is. And, we were willing to kind of look past it in the non-conference schedule because we were playing great football teams, right? You can't get upset with that. But I'm just going to read off some records for you of the conference teams we've played on the road and have beaten by those aforementioned 1 possessions. Went to Sam Houston. They're 2-8. We won that game by 2.
Mhm.
Went to MTSU. They're 1-9. We won that game by 3. Went to UTEP. They're 2-8. We won that game by 3. So we played 3 teams with a record of 5-25, and we won those games by combined, I think, 9 points. It's just we go on the road. Yeah, we grind it out and win, but we can't turn the game off in the third quarter because we're up 50 like we could last year. And I don't think it's a coaching thing or it's a player thing. I just think it's just some weird thing where we just struggle on the road. I think a lot of it also has to do. Look, we've got a target on our backs now. For better or
Mhm.
for worse. Our friend Ben over at Fan the Flames. He kind of said the same thing with Liberty. They've got a target on their backs. When you put yourself out there as that team that's won a conference championship, and now for us are well on our way to having a chance to repeat, you're going to get every team's best shot. And when you go to their place, you're not only going to get their best shot, you're going to get the best shot that their fans have too.
Mhm.
And so, we haven't been great road warriors this week. I mean, this year, we've won games, especially the last month and a half, but I can't sit here and say if we go on the road anywhere, we're guaranteed to win.
Mhm.
And I would also say this: I think FIU is a better team than those 3 other conference teams we've played. I think
Mhm.
that's right. I think purely from a talent and coaching standpoint, I think they're better. I would take Coach Willie over, and I hate to name other teams' coaches. I'd take him over Longo. I'd take him over Derek Mason. I'd probably take him over Scotty Walton. I think he's a good coach, and I think y'all got great players. So I can't sit here and say and just hammer the money line um, on Jack State going on the road, even as a homer thinking that we'll win. I can't do it.
Music to my ears. No, I'm just playing with you, but uh, let me ask the big question then. In the instance that yes, Jack State is going to end up being favored entering this game at Pit Bull Stadium, what's the one thing that you feel like both teams need to hone in on for their chance of winning this game? What's the one thing Jack State needs to make sure they do more than anything else? And from FIU's standpoint, attempting to stop Cam Cook is an obvious one, of course. But aside from that, what's the next biggest thing they should be watching out for with this Jack State team?
So I think the biggest thing is you cannot put the ball in harm's way if you're going
Mm-hmm.
up against Jacksonville State, because like I said a few minutes ago, they will turn you over.
Mm-hmm.
If generally we have learned if you throw the ball in the way of Caleb Nix, it's more likely that we will score a touchdown than you will. That's just, I mean, I think he's now responsible. Like I said, he's responsible, I think, for now 3 defensive touchdowns this season.
Uh-huh.
2 pick sixes and a fumble return for a touchdown. He's forced 2 other fumbles that he didn't recover. So if you throw the ball over the middle part of the field, we can't guarantee that your offense is gonna stay on the field another snap. So if I'm Keon Jenkins, I'm being very, very careful trying to push the ball downfield
Mm-hmm.
into tight windows. That and I hate to say that FIU won't be able to, because obviously Kennesaw State had some success throwing the ball downfield.
Yeah.
But they mostly did it between the hashes. They did it in kind of that intermediate area. The minute they start throwing the ball down, into that 25, 30 yard plus range, there's no airspace. So if I'm Keon Jenkins, I'm being very careful. On our end, on the other hand, I'm looking at Keon Jenkins and saying he's due for a big one.
Uh-huh.
We know what he's capable of. You don't casually throw over 20 touchdowns in a season
Mm-hmm.
by mistake. So we know that he's a good player. We know
Yeah.
he's an electric player. He's obviously a very good athlete, not just a good thrower. So we have to
Mm-hmm.
we can't break contain with a guy of his skill set, because he'll make us pay. And we saw Amari Odom do that last week, right? We've
Right.
seen we saw both quarterbacks at UCF do it. We saw Ethan Vasco do it a handful of times against Liberty, right? If we break contain, there's going to be room for the QB to run around, and we cannot let that happen. We've got to be able to get off the field on those crucial downs when the QB run comes into play. So I think that would be our biggest key, is just making sure that Keon Jenkins doesn't turn into Lamar Jackson overnight.
Definitely. I'd like to see Keon Jenkins turn into Lamar Jackson, but number one, that's just not how it works. And number two, Jenkins won't be in.
Will he not?
It's going to be the Joe Pazansky show for the third straight game. You just can't stop the hype train that has been.
I didn't even know he'd been. Was he hurt or is he benched?
Jenkins was. It started off being hurt, but after these last couple of games that Pazansky has put out, like against Middle Tennessee and especially Liberty, it's going to be the Holy P show the rest of the way until proven otherwise. But I think a lot of your points still stand, regardless of if it's Jenkins or Pazansky. Pazansky has proven he has been a fantastic passer and can even make some plays happen with his legs. So that's pretty much the situation here. Regardless, this is going to be an offense that hopefully, in my case, gives the Jack State defense some headaches that they haven't experienced in a few games now. So, alrighty, Caleb, again, thank you so much for spending some time in. If you'd like to let the people know where to follow you and the 700 Pelham Road podcast to see how you and the boys are getting ready for this game here at Pitbull Stadium.
Absolutely. So on Twitter, it's just at 700 Pelham Road. We on our sidelines page, it is SSN _ State. And then our blog that we write is going to be lost camera. On our blog that we write, it's just going to be called The Roost Report. Just type it in on Substack. That's where we're at. I generally put out a week or both a recap and a preview each week. And you can find us there, find what I write. And the podcast is on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. So.
All righty then, Caleb, again, thank you so much, my friend. Good luck this upcoming Sunday when you take on old man Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Thank you so much.
He's hurt.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be the Mason Rudolph show, likely for them. So that should be a free win at Soldier Field. Alrighty then, Caleb. Thank you so much, my friend. Now let's get back into the rest of the Paused Up preview as Kevin and I are going over what happened last week in the conference, make some predictions for this week in CUSA, and last but not least, game picks for Senior Day here at Pitbull Stadium between FIU and Jacksonville State. I think it's time to take a look now around Conference USA. Checking in on our friends and foes. It was an interesting week for a few reasons, but let's get right into it. Starting off with what in the world happened over in Springfield as, oh my gosh, Scotty Walden put up 24 points, but it was not enough. They lost to Missouri State.
Yeah, the Bears. Get them bowling. Get them bowling.
At this rate, you might have to. There might not be enough 6-win teams to go around. Going to keep
That's
it
the
real.
hope. Ryan Beard, their head coach, is probably praying or whatever he believes in.
Yeah,
that there are not enough bowl eligible teams, so he could go bowling with his team, and they would get a nice bowl day. We talk about the possible bowl destinations. They could go to the New Orleans Bowl. They're a good team.
Mm-hmm. And then you have 100 miles of FIU's children, Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky. The Hilltoppers get the job done there. 42 points. Nice.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, good for them. Rodney Tisdale. Who would have thought that guy would have been something, huh?
They have a couple of studs at quarterback.
And the MTSU quarterback, Roman Gagliano, I don't know what year he's in, but once Vadiato's gone, that's the guy. So they're hoping to count on him.
Tennessee beats New Mexico State. Congratulations. SEC school beats CUSA school. Very cool.
Yeah, took New Mexico State out of bowl contention. I hate those late.
I know.
Yeah, whatever.
Especially because we had to suffer that a couple years ago and we lost to Arkansas, and that eliminated our bowl contention.
Exactly. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. FIU takes down the
Dub.
And then, do
you even give the Bearcats a prayer? Granted, they have momentum. How about that? They got momentum. But, damn, Delaware's Delaware.
Delaware. Give me Delaware.
Yikes.
Yeah, well, we can move on.
Sam Houston, good job, guys. At least now, no, that's a good thing, because now they don't have to try to win in front of the fan in attendance. Now they don't have to even do that anymore this season. You get your win on the road, you get your win at home, you have absolutely nothing left to play for, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Except playing spoiler.
Yeah. That was now. This was we had a feeling this would be a good game, Jack State Kennesaw, and it was. The Gamecocks get the advantage there at the end.
Yeah, good for them. They dominated. They dominated.
They sure did.
So.
And then Wazoo.
What the 3 points?
3 points.
La Tech's gonna end up choking. They're 4-6 now, right? Or they're like 5-5.
They're like they're I think they're 5-5. So
oh my god, we need more teams to become bowl eligible in CUSA, man, so we can secure freaking bowl berth.
Secure something nice. So let's take a look at what's going on this week in CUSA. All 12 teams are playing here in week 13. You have a couple of shocker match up against some power conference teams. So yeah. First up at noon. Now this is intriguing, Kevin. You can't tell me it's not. Wake Forest hosting Delaware. Now, I think I added this in a graphic before the season for the roundtable. Which CUSA team has the likeliest chance of beating a power conference team? At the time, we all thought Wake Forest was going to be kind of bad. However, they actually do have some actual quality wins, if I'm not mistaken.
They're 7-3. They're 7-3. They're going bowling.
I'm going to take the Deacons out of Salem.
Yeah, give me the Deeks.
Sorry, Delaware. Kennesaw State takes on Missouri State. This screams fun matchup, but you know what? Kennesaw State. Here's the problem, Kevin. They're pissed because they just lost their rivals. They're going to play mad, and they're going to play like they still want to compete the CUSA title game, which I'm pretty sure they still can if they win out. So give me the Owls.
Yeah, I heard there was some marching band drama there.
Something along those lines. I don't know what that was all.
Thank God we don't have to deal with that because our marching.
I'll say this. I like our marching band quite a bit. I like their uniforms, by the way.
We'll go. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
Those shirts.
Maybe the smallest marching band in the Conference USA, but it's okay. Give me the Owls.
Are you ready for it, Kevin? We've been waiting a while for this game. It's the Toilet Bowl of CUSA. Sam Houston at Middle Tennessee, 3:00 on Saturday. How about it?
They shouldn't even be airing that game, dude.
It should be it should be aired, but on Comedy Central. You know, I feel like that'd be a great.
The CW.
Yeah, that's Pac-12 territory. Come on now.
They can make an exception.
I think the good times are going to keep rolling for Sam Houston. Give me the Bearcats.
Give me Middle Tennessee.
Okay, all right.
I'm taking this one, so
I don't know. You think Gagliano gets it done, eh?
Who's favored?
I'm guessing Middle Tennessee just because they're at home. Probably not by a lot, though.
Let's see.
Yeah.
By 7. Yeah, 7.
All right. I'm taking Sam Houston, though. I think they'll, it's the what the hell bowl. Who knows what's going to happen there? Liberty takes on La Tech at 3:00. I think La Tech looks bad, and so does Liberty. But Liberty, they realize how important this game is to keep them bowling, to keep the pride of Liberty going. I'm going to take the Flames here on the road.
Yeah, give me the Flames. Hate to do it for La Tech. Would like to see them go bowling, but got to take Liberty on this one.
Unfortunately, but did you even know the quarterback carousel that's at La Tech right now? I think they're going to have
Evan Bolt
this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a flight.
Yeah. Woo! It's this rivalry: New Mexico State and UTEP at 3:00. And it's Yost University versus Scotty Walden. And you know what? I'm taking Scotty Walden. Give me the Miners at home at the Sun Bowl.
Yep. Give me Walden, baby. Give me Walden.
Walden needs this. I mean, it's one of those games where the season has been so crap, but if you beat your rival, it's a W.
That's what they did last year.
Yeah. 3:30, Jack State FIU, and the night game. Western Kentucky takes on LSU in the. Is this the fake Death Valley or the real Death Valley? I can't remember sometimes.
I think it's the real Death Valley.
Okay. Anyway, LSU is one of the worst teams in the SEC. With a 6-4, they're one of the worst teams, but they're still going golden.
Yeah, it's so interesting, right? This game for Western actually seems pretty winnable all of a sudden. But
it does.
Give me.
And you know what?
Hey, No. Give me LSU.
I don't know what that was, but you know what? Feels like every once in a while you need an upset like this to restore the balance of college football. And you know what? I think Western Kentucky's the right team to do it. I'm taking the Tops in an upset in Death Valley, the crapola season. LSU has no coach. They have no coach. I think the Tops are going to get it done. And if they lose, I'm just going to say this was a charity for you to finally get back in the standings, even a little bit. Which, by the way, I just realized I didn't go over it earlier. Last week we both went 6-1. We both took Delaware over Jack State like a bunch of idiots. Delaware over Sam Houston like a bunch of idiots. So total records, I'm at 62-21. Kevin, you're at 57-26. Let's ask this big question, huh? Who will win? Question asked here. It's time to see what EA did, and jeez, it's going to be rough, ladies and gents. Take a look.
Sometimes it's just not your day. Things just didn't work, and that seemed to be the case here.
That was rough. That was rough. That would be a terrible way to lose.
That would be horrific.
Couldn't be us, though.
Yeah.
Liberty.
Is that right? Okay, then. Well, let's hear your take here, Mr. Kevin. Who's going to win this game between the FIU Panthers and Cam Cook University, and give us a score?
Man, I've been thinking about this one because we got to send these seniors off, right? We gotta. I told you the next time we will be doing this stream, the FIU Panthers will be 6-5. We'll be wearing bowl-bound shirts, and we'll be going nuts on the Paws Up postgame show. Paws Up, FIU Panthers, 34-31. Big win. KJ Owens gets the record. Joe P, 4 passing TDs.
I think Cam Cook's going to run all over us. I don't listen. I know this is the year of breaking streaks and all that, but I think Jacksonville State's just a little too red hot. I'll just say this. It'll be a close game against Jacksonville State, which will still be perfect because that means if you can take on the best of the best, surely you'll have no problem next week in Sam Houston, right? I'm taking Jacksonville State by a final score of – there's going to be a lot of scoring, 42-35. Like some ridiculous numbers being put out by both teams here. I don't know why. Okay, I guess I wanted to see Kevin's nodding of disapproval, but here's a selfish reason, by the way. I want the stakes to be higher for my watch party next week against Sam Houston. You can get into a bowl. You better be tuned in. That's going to be
high, though. They can still be high stakes. 7-5. I mean, we're playing for preseason records.
Yeah. 3:30 CBS Sports Network. So great, obviously great production usually from those guys. And regardless of broadcast, who's doing radio, Kev?
I want to say it'll be Mr. Corey Brooks, Billy Gill, and Jackson McDonald. A
bunch of goats is what I heard you say, basically. So get there. I think you can wear whatever you want. This is senior day. Wear whatever the hell you want to this game. No colors needed, but maybe rock some red, white, and blue because I know they're going to be honoring the troops and the United States is just in general for that game. Should be a good one. So, alrighty, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Obviously, we will be back for the halftime report, post-game show. Hopefully, they'll both be good. This is one where I know I didn't pick FIU, but I'd be sure as hell happy to be wrong here and give FIU some leverage in the standings because it's been a rough season for you, Kev. Hopefully you can.
What do you mean? I'm doing just fine.
You had a week where you didn't get a single pick right.
I've been heating up recently, so we're
You've been
good.
heating up. Hopefully, FIU is heating up and ready to go for this game. All right, everybody. Enjoy some football. Hopefully, the Panthers get this done. And until next time, Paws!